Welcome to The Breakdown, brought to you by PaintballAccess.com. I'm Matty Marshall with Todd Martinez. On this episode, we're going to be talking about the top killers in the PSP through two events, Todd. And number one, not a big giant surprise here, because he's nipping at Archie Montemayor's heels for the actual overall Top Gun leader. And he was the winner last year. It's Oliver Lang. And the crazy thing about Oliver Lang being number one is that he is 10. Not only is the number one in the G rating, he's also number one in total kills as well, too. 75 confirmed kills for Oliver Lang this year. Ryan Greenspan is actually second in just pure how many kills do you have, 62 for him, and then also Montemayor also has 62 as well. So Oliver getting off to another really good start this year.
Yeah, and it's no surprise that Oliver Lang and Ryan Greenspan are right there neck and neck to each other, because both of them are actually really playing phenomenal this year. Archie Montemayor, he's up there. He's belongs there because he's just killing people wholesale this year, tied with Ryan Greenspan at 62. And I mean, all the way down this list right now, it's pretty even. You know, this list after Chicago is going to be interesting to take a look at, because, you know, only a few kills separate all these players as we go down this list.
Yeah, and if you're talking about just pure kills, not the G rating, because the G rating is actually what factors into your overall player ranking. So maybe we should start with that one first. So G rating, it's number one is Oliver Lang, number two is John Woodley. They're very close to each other. And actually, the G ratings come down from Dallas. We had really high G ratings for Dallas. That field was crazy. And after this tactical field out that we saw at the Mid-Atlantic Open at OXCC Paintball Park, .97 is now that's the bar set by Oliver. John Woodley's at .95. Archie is on John Woodley's heels, .93. Colt's right behind him, .92. I mean, so close here with all these guys. After that, Alex Rodriguez from Los Angeles Ironman, he's fifth. And then Nicky Cuba and Keith DeVitt are actually tied for sixth at .87. And then Chad Bouzier from Damage, who actually did not play the last event as he had an injured back. And then Sergei Sonaiskov and Joshua Met are the rounding out. That's for G rating. So it's there's no real surprises up there. I don't know, does anybody surprise you? I mean, I think Keith, I'm a big fan of Keith DeVitt. I really like how he plays the game. Wild and crazy. He's a wrecking ball. He's one of those guys, look it up in your face. But I didn't think he'd get up here this early. He also has, you know, not playing as many points as anybody else in the top 10.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's all about efficiency, you know, when you're talking about the G rating. You know, the more you get out there, you know, the tougher it is to make sure you get kills every single game. But if you're playing like Oliver Lang, you're playing 77 points and you get 75 kills. I mean, that's efficiency. You know, you can count on Oliver Lang to go out there and do his job every time. Keith DeVitt, you know, if he can get up to, he's a fast wrecking ball front guy. If he can get up to the front and go get a kill and get off the field, that's all you ask out of Keith DeVitt. You know, Nicky Cuba, he's up there. He's tied with Keith DeVitt. He's getting 33 kills out of 38 points. But, you know, we saw he really stepped it up there for Infamous when they needed somebody to step up at MAO. So, you know, those two guys tied at sixth, but all the rest of these guys, you know, 1 through 5, usual suspects, guys that are used to getting on the field, definitely getting their 1, maybe 2, sometimes 3, and, you know, the occasional 4 and 5 pack, you know, out of those guys. Oliver Lang, Woodley, Montemayor, Roberts, and Alex Rodriguez.
Yeah, and if you flip down to just straight kills, how many total kills do you have, not G rating, just pure killing ability? It's Oliver in the lead, 75 for him. Ryan Greenspan second, like we said, 62, tied with Archie. Colt Roberts and Jacob Edwards are tied at 61. Lots of ties here.
Yeah, because Jacob Edwards had such a great MAO event. He played awesome, and he did play really well in Dallas as well.
And, you know, that was a big pickup for Damage to get him back from Houston Heat. So many rosters, it's so crazy with all the roster madness, but that one completely makes sense. He went back home playing with his brother again, and definitely still really young, man. The guy is still really, really young. So I think that the upward swing for Jacob Edwards is, there's still a lot of upside to him, even though he's playing very well already right now. Damian Ryan, 57 for him, tied up with AJ Lawhead. And this is where it starts to get interesting for me when you're looking at this, because you're looking at guys from Vicious and Chicago Aftershock pretty much rounding out the bottom tier here for the total kill leaders. So A.J. Lawhead is tied up with Damian Ryan at 57. Chris Sosine, 56 confirmed kills for Chris Sosine. He's having a big year for Chicago Aftershock. And then Trevor Reeser and Zach Sherman, 55 and 54 for those two players from Omaha Vicious. Not surprising to see them up there after watching them play through 2 events now. And then Brandon Short and Brad McCurley are tied at 51.
Yeah, I mean, the 2 Aftershock guys, Lawhead and Sosine, 57 and 56, both those guys play almost every point for Aftershock, if not every point. You know, those guys, they've really led the charge for Aftershock. Getting Chris Sosine back to Aftershock was huge for them, and he's really been a leader. He plays every point. He's always shooting guys on the break, and he's closing out games for them. So him and Lawhead together have been an actual real good combo, especially when you throw in a guy like Carl Markowski, who's up there, who everybody's got to pay attention to Carl Markowski. A.J. Lawhead and Chris Sosine really silently just getting the job done game after game. And then you look at the 2 Vicious guys at 8 and 9, Trevor Reeser and Zach Sherman. I think those guys are playing some of the best paintball I've ever seen them play. You know, they're playing really fearless right now, very confident, and they're getting up there and they're just smashing people, and they want more game after game after game. So really proud of the way those guys are playing. And then when you have the 2 guys tied at number 10, Brandon Short and Brad McCurley. Brandon Short had an amazing event last event, really got the job done for Dynasty, and Brad McCurley is always one of those guys that's not scared to step up for Infamous. So not surprising to look at this overall kill list right now, guys that are really hungry from top to bottom, that are really playing really solid paintball for their team.
And that's what it's going to take. I mean, when you're looking at these, the best of the best right here in the world at just purely shooting people out, it's not surprising to see these legends in here. And honestly, like I said just earlier, it's not surprising to see Trevor Reeser, Zach Sherman, Chris Sosine, A.J. Lawhead in this mix now, because they have elevated their games. And Chris Sosine was a guy who, he didn't get cut from Infamous, but he did leave, and it was kind of one of those things where everyone was like working out and playing a ton, and Chris Sosine was, wanting to do those things too, but I think it was a big wake-up call for him to leave Infamous, but when he got picked up from Shock, it was one of those things where, like, man, Chris Sosine they really need somebody like him. They need a back player that can shoot people off the break. They need someone that has big game experience, and they need somebody that can help pull the reins back on those wild and crazy guys like A.J. Lawhead. So Shock and Vicious are 2 of the most interesting stories this year, and it is good to see Brandon Short and Brad McCurley, get up there into the leaderboard as well too, because Brandon Short did have, he played out of his mind at the Mid-Atlantic Open, and Dynasty won the event. So, it's definitely a very interesting start to the season, but heading into Chicago, I think we're probably going to potentially see some of these change. We'll see, though. You never really know.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, going back to Chris Sosine, I feel like when he was on Infamous, it was just a victim of having too much talent. There's so many guys that were so good, it was hard to get playing time. And now that he's on Aftershock and he's playing every game, he's really showcasing the talent that he does have. He's really good at shooting people on the break, getting up the field and killing people and finishing games out, and it's really nice to see him up there. But, you go again, talk about the guys that are in the top 5, Oliver Lang, Ryan Greenspan, Archie Montemayor, and Colt Roberts. It's no surprise San Diego Dynasty and X Factor are in the top 3 in the league right now. So, the top players on the top teams are really getting the job done. And after Chicago, can't wait to see what the field layout's going to be like, how these players are going to perform, and who's going to win. But, I mean, great performances all year right now throughout the first 2 events from all the players on this list. And it's been some very dynamic paintball, exciting to watch. And I'm really ready for Chicago already.
Well, yeah, I am too. I love Chicago and World Cup are my favorite events because Chicago is, it's middle of the year, so guys have had time to finally, get. Okay, who's our starting 5? Who's playing well this year? Who's putting in the time this year? They've got out of the winter's over, and they've had months now to prepare and solidify that team to head in, but everybody else has too. So historically, Chicago is the 2nd hardest event to win in the world other than World Cup. So yeah, man, I'm totally stoked to see Chicago, and it's going to be coming at you June 19th through the 22nd. It's going to be held at CPX Sports Park, a little outside of Chicago in Joliet, Illinois, and that's one of the world's best fields. So it's a great facility. It's going to be a great event. And, head to paintballaccess.com, go to our stats page, and use these stats to pick your fantasy team, because, there's going to be a gun on the line for the winner of that. And, man, I can't wait to see Chicago. It's going to be great. So, again, June 19th through the 22nd. Mark your calendars. Thank you guys for tuning in here to The Breakdown. I'm Matty Marshall with Tom Martinez. We'll see you next time.
This is the Earth. The Earth is beautiful. Earth is where we play paintball. It is important to recycle in order to save the Earth. not recycle custom paintball jersey designs. Get what you pay for. Get a fresh original design at rozalife.com.
Being confident in yourself is important. Being confident in your equipment is a must. When you do the hard work of getting to that spot on the field, you must have the confidence to seize the opportunity. My name is Brad McCurley. I play for Team Infamous, and the Vanquish takes my game to another level.
There are massive opportunities, both for the sport of paintball and for your business. If we are successful in taking our sport to another level, unite with Paintball Access in our quest to elevate paintball and broadcast it to the world. There are advertising packages available for any size business. Join us. Advertise with PBA and help us change the sport for the better, forever.